Alright, so this video we are redoing the doors. Now my previous video that I just uploaded last weekend was the tweeters, which are currently built and they're just not on because I'm about to pull these doors off. So these are coming off. These have fared pretty well. They've been on here for 7 years now and they've done alright. The speakers are still fine and that one does get kicked a little because of me getting in and out. This one has been kicked a few times as well and I have popped the grill out. So when I make the new ones, I probably won't have as big a kick out as I do on these if possible. Probably going to try and keep them flatter because they are just that shape that people seem to kick them when they get in the car. I've pulled out, as you can see, both doors, including the old Pioneers and crossovers that were in the door as well, and anything else that had to do with pulling that out. I'll come over here and I'll show you. There's what she's looking at, all stripped. Still sounded and obviously and everything like that, so I don't have to do any of that right now. So these are the Focal KRX2s. Yes, I've had them on the channel before. I did momentarily fit them to my HSV before I sold it, but anyone that hasn't watched that video wouldn't have seen them. So we'll take one out of the box. So this is one of the KRX2 woofers. As we see, Focal, big magnet. And yeah, that's that. Now I'll just get one of the Pioneers here, and this is what I literally just pulled out. So I've taken off the doors, the actual panels themselves. There's the original pods that I had made, and here's what we have left. Now already I've decided, looking at this door, you've got this big bulge, and you've got a few little contours and shapes. So it is definitely going to be easier and less time consuming, and probably going to end up with a better final result to use these as a base. And this is just a speaker spacer that I have that is for this size woofer, and I just wanted to see how shallow I can make it and the speaker fit. So as of right now, pull her out, that is literally just the factory door card with that spacer sitting almost perfectly in line, and there's enough room for it to clear this bar. So pretty much I don't need to bring it out any further than that. So I'm going to cut these doors in half. So I'm going to cut this piece here, straight down this line here, and I'll be able to make that as one separate piece. So I'll be able to make that with the speaker, etc., and then trim it. So I'll be able to actually get the trim around. This would be a very hard spot to trim in this corner, and so if I do that, I can trim that. This piece I will also make as a separate panel. So this will be, to continue on, it'll literally just have a join line between the two panels. But if you look at these doors, there's a join line throughout. So just sanded these with a palm sander, an 80 grit, and so there's my two halves cut in half. All I did was really straighten the edges and smooth them off. So pretty much that's that for now. Pretty straight edge, and now these can be made as two separate panels. Now I'm going to focus on the woofer first. I just cut these two pieces of wood out so they match the profile pretty much perfectly. Obviously I'm not going to fill into this spot here because that's probably where the door kind of shuts on it. That's where my dash is. So here's the grill now, obviously as you can see flushed in. So that's where it's obviously going to sit. So what I've got to do now is make a piece of wood that's going to sit underneath all of this. So that's sitting on the top of the plastic. Obviously there needs to be another piece lower down. So I've got to cut out all of the plastic so I can have a piece of wood below this. Alright, now these are my two mounting pieces for the actual speakers to mount onto. And then obviously this piece goes around the top as a trim surround pretty much for the grill. Now as you can see, these are currently sitting on the plastic still, like that. So what I end up having to do now is I'll trace around them, and I'll actually cut the plastic out where they're going to sit, so then these will be able to sit into the plastic. Alright, so now we have two of these. So this is, as you can see, I've put a few screws through the back end, and it's just a plate on the front. So both of those are done, as you can see, and this one is now ready to go into its mould. And finally we have our first piece attached. So that is fully attached to the plastic. So it's screwed in 2 screws in the bottom here, and I've got one kind of through the top, but not too much pressure because I don't want to warp the shape of it, but it's enough that it's holding it together. And now I've got my shape. Now I'm still going to probably router a 45 around the bottom of this, and maybe even on the top edge here, just a bit of a slight angle, which I can do while it's all together. What I'll probably do is body fill with the fiberglass filler around these edges to start with. That'll give it the strength. Alright, now what I did is I brought the 2 panels over to the doors, fitted them back on the doors, and obviously I had noticed that they had warped a little bit, mainly because obviously I've cut out the main structural integrity of the actual piece of plastic and put a flat piece of wood on a curved panel. Now what I ended up doing was, in the back here I actually put just 2 little random like rivets that I just shoved a rivet in here, and the pressure pushed the panel back down. I then hot glued, just quickly hot glued the rivet in position, and now obviously the panel is lining up the way it should be. At the front here I just held it in position, again put a little bit of hot glue there. It's just going to hold it for now. Alright, that's mixed. Just keep it moving. So it will sink in a little. I'll try not to push it too hard in there. We want it to go in a little bit, but we don't need it to fall all the way through. But this is just layer 1, and this is just mainly for strength. And that's why I'm using the fiber filler and not just normal body filler. So we'll use the fiber filler around all these edges, fill it in. As I said, there's a lot more shaping and stuff that I'm going to do, but for now we're just going to do this and get our strength up. So I've got the first one of these done. I'll pick it up here just carefully and just show you. And as you can see, all the way around, filled in all the gaps. So I'm just going to let that set. Now the other one I got about 3/4 done. There's one little bit I ran out of filler, but I'm just going to let them set, and then I'll reapply more onto that one and just fill in a few little gaps of what's left over on this one. They're both solid now and fully glassed, well, body filler glassed, should I say, to the actual plastic, so they're not going to go anywhere. And I'm just let them set. Then I'm just going to give them a quick sand. Alright, well, not the greatest weather out today. It's raining pretty hard, but I've got my tarp up there at the end of the garage outside. So I'm going to grab the 2 of these, grab a router, my wireless router there, and a laminate trimmer, whatever you want to call it. And we're just going to start routering and take down the edges on this and smooth it out. Alright, so here's my 2 panels. Pretty happy with the way they're going. So what I just did then is I sanded them all with about an 80 grit with a electric sander, and then I went over with a router, rounded these edges up the top here, and then rounded the edge at the bottom. I then sanded it even smoother, so it's just a bit more flowing. And as you can see, the whole thing slowly kicks up, so it slowly curves in the wood, and then pretty much follows the same profile as the actual speaker grill. So it all kind of just curves into one thing. Same with this side, it kind of curves back down over there. The only thing, obviously, this edge needs to be pretty straight because it will be butting up against this piece here. So it'll be straight up against that. But otherwise, that's looking exactly how I want it to. I just put one of the grills in just to try to show you what I'm going for. And as I said, I'm trying to keep this flat as possible so that they're not sticking out, getting kicked, but at the same time giving them a little bit of shape so that they're a little bit prettier than just a flat piece of wood. We're going to call this the end of the video, and we're going to call these finished. So for this video, these are physically constructed and finished. So they're nice and smooth now. I filled in most of the big spots or pins, which, I mean, they weren't bad anyway, but you get the idea. And they're finished. So there's still a little bit riding on how I'm going to finish the inside there, whether I just leave it like that, hopefully. Hopefully I won't need to do any more there, because I've still got to work out, obviously, how these are going to sit in amongst it. As I said, obviously that's where they used to sit, but I'm going to be changing these so they extend up and make a new kind of panel. So for that reason though, these are finished and constructed. Now I've kept them fairly simple, so easy to trim, and I just wanted them, as I said in the beginning of the video, flat. So that's the 2 of them, looking very symmetrical, and they are both finished, and we're going to call that for now. So next video, we're going to be building that half of the door. I am still waiting on some new lights to come in as well, so that's why I'm not in a major rush. I'm still waiting on some parts.